Good morning, my YouTube family and friends. I pray that everyone is having a blessed day today. It is indeed a blessing to be alive. We are in the land of the living, and we should rejoice and be glad in this day. No matter what's going on, we still can rejoice and be glad, and that's what we're going to do. And if you have not said it already, let's say it together. Thank you, Jesus, for another day. He's been so good to us all. You know, he didn't even have to wake us up this morning. It wasn't our alarm clock. It wasn't no phone that woke us up. It was his grace and mercy. So I'm just so thankful, you all, for you. I thank God for you. I thank God for this channel. I thank God for giving me a voice on this channel. And I'm just thankful for everything. And I just was listening to a song when I dropped my baby girl off called "This Is the Day," and there was one line in the song that said, "If I have money one week and the next week I'm broke, I still will rejoice." And that's the attitude that Jesus is looking for in every situation. Just be content. Just rejoice. Be glad, because the enemy wants us to be upset, mad. And then that goes into depression, that goes into other things. It's like a domino effect, If you're mad and sad long enough, that goes into other things. And so, but I wanted to just hop on here. Of course, I'm on my way to work. But I wanted to hop on here and share some words of encouragement. And it's kind of twofold, or whatever you want to call it. It's two different things I wanted to talk about, because these things are so true. But the first thing is gossip. The church that we attend, the minister was talking about that yesterday, and I was like, I never thought about gossip the way, he had described it. And basically he was saying that, when somebody comes to us with gossip and, hearsay or whatever, that's not, that's not of the Lord. That's slandering somebody's name. And I used to always hear that, back in the day, or I think I read it or something. That person is not even able to defend themselves because they're not around. I'll just give an example. Like, somebody comes to you and they're talking about the person, saying that they don't have money or they falling on hard times. That's gossip. And then, once that person is looking to, we don't know that person's motive, but that person is looking for you or me, whoever they're telling it to join in so they can, give you more information. And so, I have been guilty of that. Not now, but like in times past I have. I'm just going to be honest. I'll be honestly, I was sharing this with one of the ladies at church yesterday. I said, I'll just ask, about, say, like, this is just an example, but I'll just be like, how's, such and such doing? How are they doing? And then, the person who loves gossip or who loves to entertain gossip, they'll answer the question, but then they'll go into other things. They'll be like, yeah, yeah, they're doing good. And then they'll go into, say, like, if they don't like that person or something, they'll get into that. And then they'll get into, it'll go into gossip then, because, it's something, it's almost like it's something they've been wanting to talk about. So, okay, I have somebody now who will listen, so let me just say what I want to say to get it off my chest, pretty much. And so I have been guilty of that. But I was telling the lady yesterday that, I was honestly trying to ask about the person, but then it goes into other avenues. And then, she was like, well, think about it this way, that's like, gossip is like somebody's handing you a handful of garbage. And they're saying, okay, here, I'm giving you my garbage. So, and you're like, I don't want this, So I said, yeah, that's a good icky way of thinking about it. And so we were kind of smiled, laughing or whatever. And she said, yeah, she said she it's come to where she shuts it down too. But I'll even try to change the subject. But, a lot of times with some people, that doesn't work. Because, if people have on their mind what they want to say, and I think what I believe what's going on is that they have been wanting to say, whatever they're gossiping about, and they found someone who will actually listen, because everybody doesn't listen to that, but they found a way that they can tell everything about what they want to say about the person. So okay, I got a listening ear. They asked me how the person is doing, and so let me just tell them everything. And so I have actually been in the midst of the conversation, and I'll be like, I didn't ask for all that. I'm like, how did I get here? Because I'm like, I just asked how that person was doing. Because now this is most relevant to my situation, because we're no longer in the same state that we moved from. That we were in. And so I'm just asking, checking on different ones. Some of them are relatives, some of them are just people that I knew or whatever, or were associated with. So I'm just like, well, how's that person doing? Or maybe I'm trying to get an update. But then it just goes into other things. And to be honest, a lot of times I'm asking so I can pray for them, because a lot of times the Lord will place people in my spirit. And I don't, I'm not like, Lord, I don't, well, I do. A lot of times I have said that, Lord, I don't know why this person is in my spirit, but I'm just going to pray for them, because I'll literally be praying and, praying to Jesus, and then a person's name will come in my spirit. And so I'll just say, well, I don't know what's going on with them. It doesn't matter, Lord. You are able. And so I'll just include them in my prayer, So, and then, but that's what, I'm asking people back home, because I'm like, okay, that's why. And it actually, there was one particular relative that the Lord was placing in my spirit, and I had no idea what they were going through. But it was confirmed through another relative. So, God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. And, he will do just what he said he will do for us. But we just have to be obedient. We have to, be willing vessels for him, because he's doing a great work in all of us. He's not finished with us yet. But it's just, again, a lot of times we don't understand things, but God knows. He knows what he's doing. He's omnipotent. He knows everything. But yeah, so when somebody brings you gossip, when somebody comes to you with a bunch of, I call it mess, don't even accept it. Rebuke that spirit that's in them, that's wanting to, like that mess. Because some people, they thrive off of that. Their life is not going, so good. And all of us, if we be honest, we got things that we're going through, we're dealing with. But that doesn't give us a right to talk about other people or to gossip about other people. And so, we just have to be careful with that, because God sits high and he looks low. He hears everything, he sees everything. And, but again, I have been guilty of that, especially at my former job, listening. And because a lot of times, I'm just going to be honest, a lot of times, especially on jobs, you want to know what's going on, you want to hear like, because if we're honest, nobody likes to not, well, I know this is for me, I'm speaking for myself. I like to know things. And so, a lot of times, and I'm not saying gossiping lets us know things. Yes, it does inform us of things, but it informs us in a bad way. And then we're taking that person's word for it, whoever's saying it, but I'm talking about information. Just this past week, I found out something from somebody, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know that, and then that person again started adding little extra stuff to it, but they gave me the information that I was not aware of about the person, because I was like, oh, really? And then it went into other things. So we just have to know what to filter in and what to filter out. I think that's what should happen. But when somebody comes to you with gossip, when somebody comes to you, trying to take down somebody's name, because think about it, I wouldn't want anyone doing me like that. And of course, it still goes on. It goes on in families, it goes on at jobs. A lot of times, if people don't know anything about you that they can confirm, they will gossip about you. They'll be like, well, you know, that person, she stays to herself, or I think I think she's a Christian. I don't know, but she doesn't, you know, I don't know. She just acts different, you know. And then next thing you know, and then a lot of times, people will just assume because they know nothing about you, and so that assumption, that's bad too. You know, just take people for how they come to you. Pray for them, pray with them, whatever God is leading you to do, and just go on about your business. Because, you know, at the end of the day, God knows more about us than we know about our own selves. And, you know, that's not important. Who cares? You know, it shouldn't even be that important, you know, where you got to know everything about somebody. You know, I used to be like that. I was so curious, and I'm like, you know, I wonder what that person, you know. But it's more so, again, for me, it was just, you know, I guess just nosy. I'm going to be honest, you know, because when I have worked on jobs, you know, I would be like, I wonder, do they have children? You know, I wonder, do they, but I wouldn't, you know, go, you know, to another coworker or nothing and be gossiping about them. You know, I just be thinking that to myself. But, you know, I'm like, I wonder if they're married, you know, or I wonder, you know, do they go to church? And it would be things like that. So mainly, like I said, information. And you know, a lot of times we would like to know things like that, so we can, you know, just for our knowing, you know, it's no rhyme or reason for it, but it's just so, I don't know, it's just so we'll know, and we can remember those things. But again, let's be mindful of people when they come to you gossiping and trying to take other people down. Stop them at the door and let them know that that's not what I do here. You know, that's not what I'm here for. And because a lot of times people will try to befriend you. This has happened to me years ago, and they'll try so they can have a dumping site, so they can dump gossip into you. And then they say, well, you know, I had this, I never will forget. I worked at Blue Cross, and right after I started working there, the older lady come to me and she said, yeah, she was telling me something, and she said, yeah, I said how she thought I was or whatever, and I was like, no, and because she thought since I was quiet and reserved that I went to a certain high school. I was like, no, I didn't go to that high school. And so she's like, oh, really? I was like, nope, I didn't go there. And so then she was like, but I already could tell, God had already given me the discernment what type of person she was. She was a busybody. She was nosy. And she stayed to herself pretty much, but she was just almost a collection basket. She collected information from everybody, knew something about everybody in that office, and so and didn't mind repeating it. And so anyway, and you'll meet people like that. I don't know what you call that, but they have to know something about everybody, and they know everything about everybody, but you don't know anything about them. You don't know anything about them, because that's just the way they have it. But so anyway, she went on to say, she said, I was asking about church or something, and she said, then she started telling me, so because I was new on the job, I think I had only been there a few days, and I was actually younger. She was old enough to be my mother at that time, and I mean, I was young, and so, and she still is. I mean, but what I'm saying, she was way older than me. And so then she said, yeah, I said, she was telling me a lot of other stuff that I really didn't need to know. And then she ended it. She said, but don't tell anybody. You know, that's just between me and you. Don't repeat that, basically. So I'm like, so you don't. So how do you know? How do you know that you can trust me and trust me with all this mess you don't dump it over into me? And keep in mind, I was young and everything. How can you trust me and know for sure that I'm not going to repeat everything you told me? And, you know, and in actuality, they don't even care. You know, when they dumping information into you like that, they don't care if you go back and tell. They don't care. Because that just further proves their point. You know, that's going to prove that, one, you can't be trusted. Two, you know, you just like them. You know, so the point will be proven, basically. But I was just like, what is she... You know, what was the goal of that? Now that I think back on that, that's been some years ago. But I'm just like, what is that? What was the purpose of that? You know, she She told me all that information, and I'm like, I'm new here. And then I had another lady did me the same way. At this my former last job I had before we left Tennessee, she did the same thing. She come to me and said, anything you want to know about anybody, gossiper, anything you want to know about anybody here, come to me, I'll tell you. I was like thinking to myself, and I was new there too, but I almost bust out laughing, because I'm like, gosh, they don't even hide anymore. They just they just come right out with it. So I was just like, okay. I just said okay or something. So I remember I went back. I couldn't wait to get home, because we were leaving for that day. And we was in the parking garage, and I couldn't wait to get back home to tell my late husband. And so me and him just laughed about that, and he said, what? I said, yeah, this is what they're doing now. I said, she told me whatever I needed to know about anybody on that job, because she had been there a long time. And she said, just come to her. She'll tell me. And I'm like, what? I form my own thoughts, and I'm my own person. What I need you to tell me about anybody that works there, I don't even care that much. I'm here to work, do my job, and go home. I'm not here to. I don't care about who's going with who's sleeping with who's whatever, who's mad. I don't care about any of that. That's add-on information, but that's not need to know information. So I was just like, oh my gosh, are you serious right now? So, but yeah, she just went on, and she was more in so many ways, so many ways. She was so proud of what she was telling me. Like, yeah, I'm the one. Come to me. And she was old enough to be my mother too, and the older lady. But I'm thinking, oh my gosh, But it's some people that they are bold like that, and they will just let you know, this is me. This is how it is. And the same thing, she was kind of to herself. She kept to herself, but she had all that gossip inside of her. And she knew about everything. And I was like, I would be in the middle of a lot of times that, because I was new then, but I would be in the middle of them, her and some other ones that had been there a little while, gossiping and talking about other people. And then they would, try to switch it, because they knew they saw quickly that I didn't do what they did. So then they would try to flip it and act as though like they were, not who they were acting to be, which they were. But again, we have to be so careful. We really do, because we can really get into a big mess. People can deceive you. You can think that you're befriending somebody who's a really nice person, and they could be a nice person, but they can also be a gossiper. They can also be a slanderer of of people's character. So let's just be mindful of who we're hanging out with at work, who we're letting in our circle. A lot of people will find out your business, and then next thing you know, they turn on you. Come on, let's hang out together. I have someone here that's been, yeah, you should do this, and the Lord has not instructed me to even do that. And I was gonna actually take her up on this last offer, but then the Spirit was like, no, leave her alone, because a lot of times when people show us who they are, we need to believe them. And when people do certain stuff, I pray for them. I ask the Lord to help them be a better person. I ask the Lord to help me be a better person. But what I'm saying is that be mindful of who you're hanging out with. You don't need a friend. Our friend is in Jesus. We don't need a friend that bad that we are willing to hang out with people who are acting a fool and doing doing things that are not good and in the eyesight of God. So be mindful of that. We need to be careful about that, who we're hanging out with, because again, never get where you're that thirsty. I don't even know if that's still a term now, but where you're that thirsty, you're that seeking attention, where you're willing to lay down your standards, your morals, just so that you can befriend somebody and hang out with somebody. You know, it's not that deep. So I just, you know, again, I pray for everybody. I ask the Lord to bless them in a mighty way, and, you know, touch them, you know, change them. I ask God to change me. Not only change them, you know, change me too, because we all need changing. We should want to be changed by God. But again, you know, be careful who you're coming in agreement with on these jobs, on these, you know, whatever it is. Be careful, because people will come across like they're this, that, and the other, and they'll totally turn on you. They'll totally turn on you. So I pray that this word blesses somebody. I pray the SON is shining bright today, y'all. But I pray that this encouraging word blesses you. I pray that the Lord will continue to encamp his holy angels around you all. And I pray that you have just a beautiful day today. I pray that God answers every single prayer that you have ever prayed to him according to his holy, divine, and perfect will for your lives. And God is so good, y'all. Go out today and do something good for somebody. You know, buy them lunch, or pray with them, or I don't know, just do something kind for somebody. Do it every day, but do it today. Start with today, and watch how God will bless you. I love you, but remember, God loves you all so much more. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.